have to throw. He threw one time in the second half, and didn't have to. They wanted to keep the ball on the ground and run this clock out. Receiving, we had Jackson, 5 catches for 80 yards. Marek, 1 catch for 20 yards, the only pass in the second half. And Adams, the 1 catch in the first half for 71 yards. On Shiner's side, the big rush for them was supposed to be Lyndon Lee, out of the game, but we didn't hear any reports of what type of injury he might have sustained or so on. But a slow night, 5 carries for 6 yards. Lyndon Lee was the top getter of rushing and so on in the area as of this week's statistics. The biggest average is 12.5. This is a big dent to his average, I guarantee you that. Cowan, the second runner, 12 carries for 52 yards. And Vancouver, the quarterback, had 43 yards on 13 carries, which is still a fair amount of yards, but a lot of carries to get those. On the passing slate, we had Vancouver, 2 of 12 for a total of 13 yards. You can't say enough about that defensive backfield. The pressure had a lot to do with it by keeping him off balance and making him get rid of the ball a lot. The receiving end, we had 1 catch for 3 yards, and the split end, number 87, had 1 catch for 10 yards. We're not looking at total yards. Shiner had a total of 147, 41 at half. The second half, it was you can attribute a combination of Schulenburg bending and not breaking, let him have a little success on the ground and keep that clock running. Schulenburg a total of 366 yards, over double the amount of Shiner. The scoreboard showed a more lopsided victory than the total stats, but the second half we kind of settled down and just played the game out. Could have been a lot worse, in my opinion, if he decided to exploit that offense and do a little more. But a totally dominating effort by Schulenburg.
Yeah, one of the few bright spots, if there were any, for Shiner came in the first series when they blocked that punt of the Shorthorns. Other than that, nothing.
At that time, you thought, well, what kind of game are we involved in here? Shiner's come out and they're ready to play. Just a mental lapse on Schulenburg's part. I think that they thought the ball was going to get away a little quicker and didn't quite think he was going to get there in time and maybe let him get through. But I'm sure that they found out nobody got close to our punt. Well, did we have to punt hardly after that? I don't think we punted anymore. Maybe one more time. That's been something different. We haven't had to punt hardly this year at all.
As I was thinking about this game during the week, I think that I, like a lot of people, may have used this game as a barometer to find out how good Schulenburg is this year. If this game is a barometer, boy, are they going to be tough in the playoffs.
Barometer or thermometer, you want to say? We sure got hot real quick. I can't help but think it's the tough schedule that has helped us get to this point. The level of competition we played week in and week out, that I can contribute to possibly Shiner's downfall right there, playing the Lexingtons and the Sacred Hearts and so on, not taking anything away from those schools by any means, but maybe playing the 3 and 4A schools like we did gave us the benefit in the conditioning end of it and the strength of our opponents week after week.
Well, at this point of the season, 3 games into the district now, 3-0 Schulenburg into the district race. I don't remember a time over the last, let's say, 6-7 years when Schulenburg has been so very dominant, in Class 2A, but I don't ever remember feeling this good about a team, feeling like, hey, nobody's going to beat this team.
Well, that seems to be the feeling around town. Let's hope we don't count our chickens too early. Hope they're not peaking yet. Hope we still have something left.
Because when we go back to the Daniel Adams teams and the Bo Adams teams, and that period when we had the Moore brothers rushing and everything, we always had Groveton in the back of our mind. And then a couple of years ago, we always thought, well, we may stumble, but I don't know if we're going to stumble this year.
It's going to be interesting to see what the competition holds this year. There's a lot of new teams up in the top that we haven't seen before, Archer City, but my personal feeling of that is how do you get that good in 1 year? I mean, there may be a lot of flopping-outers that had a weaker schedule that are playing earlier in this year, but they're not playing the type of schedule we are, and you don't get to the top in 1 year. You've got to build a success. Hoosman has done that with his JV programs on up, and getting the type of talent we need and plug it in the right places.
Well, we look forward to East Bernard. I've enjoyed sitting in for Kevin Fishbeck. This is Dan Miller. Jeff, I've enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate again, Dan, you helping us out. You did a fine job. We didn't miss a beat here. And Sleepy back there, you've always done a great job. Let's hope we can continue this up for 16 total weeks and then have something to celebrate right before Christmas.
Final score again: Schulenburg 37, Shiner nothing. For Jeff Prosky, this is Dan Miller and Greg Ulloa, our cameraman. Thanks for joining us.